Alright, at the stage now where pretty much everything's dry. It's been about an hour and I am now starting to apply the dressing. Bit of a process of trial and error, to be honest. I tested it out on the tyre sidewall and a bit of the trim before. This stuff, I'm sceptical about how good it actually is. It gets absorbed really quickly. And has a bit of a matte finish. It does say to buff it off with a microfiber once it's dried off, and then the tyre polish, it is, I think the best way to describe it is extremely aqueous, and that sounds like a really odd thing to say, but usually tyre polishes have a different kind of viscosity so that they adhere to the tyre sidewall without dripping everywhere. But this is pretty much like water. It's extremely thin and just, yeah, not my preferred go-to product. For this type of application, I'm used to using Kochemi's, I can't remember what it's called now, but it is, oh yeah, and Nanomagic. Absolutely fantastic stuff, but of course, like I said, I don't have my proper detailing kit to hand. So what I did was I sprayed a bit of this first onto the manifold there, and then I put a bit of this on top of that and worked it in with a clean brush. So, well, compared to the other one, there's a massive difference. I'm letting it absorb properly before I buff it off, so it looks a little bit wet. I mean, it seems to do the trick, but yeah, I'm not 100% convinced I'd use them again. But for a first pass, you know, can't really complain. I think it doesn't look too bad. If a little bit too shiny, but that's probably a result of me mixing the products. And you know what? Should be able to do this with one hand. So I'll spray this, and you can see for yourself. The other thing is this spray, you can't see on the video, but it leaves quite a fine mist everywhere, and the fact that I haven't taped up the rear window means that I will probably end up having to clean that window too after I am done. Yeah, I mean, that's the bit I didn't spray, that's the bit I did, so it's not too bad at the end of the day. It does what it says on the tin. But I suppose you get what you pay for, really. Yeah, I mean, that makes more sense. Leaves it with a nice matte finish. I wonder how long it'll last. I'd expect probably about 3-4 weeks, but yeah. Let's give this a buff. Dry it off, I should say. See a big difference between the part that's still wet and the bit that I've just dried off with a towel. But that's pretty much what I expected as well. I noticed that when I was cleaning it, the metal here is quite porous, so it doesn't look clean, but believe me, it is. And as a result, you can see the kind of, I don't know if grain is the right word, but you can see the striations of the metal underneath quite easily. So look, to me, what that probably warrants is a second coating, and we'll see how we get on. Alright, here we are, and so I've been around the engine bay twice now with the different dressings that I've got. Like I said, it's not the perfect result, or the result that I ideally would have wanted, and there's a fair few nooks and crannies that I haven't been able to reach, which in a perfect world, if I had all my kit and my pressure hose or steam cleaner, then I would have been able to reach them. But I don't think it's too bad an effort for the first time round, at least. I think next time I go at it, I'll have a bit better idea exactly the areas that I want to target. In particular, I didn't touch the fan assembly down there. I didn't want to risk getting any grime into the mechanism. I was just interrupted there by my lovely wife, who brought me a cup of tea and a bar of chocolate, which is always much appreciated. Yeah, so I've been around the whole engine bit. I think the spray is sort of still drying off in parts. It's a bit shinier than I like, but it does tend to dry off, and when it does dry off, has much more of a matte finish, and you can see in parts, for example there, where it is drying off under this sort of lighting, it in some ways it doesn't look like you've put anything on it, but compared to the before pictures of what this looked like when it was caked in grime, it's still a massive improvement. Let's say for example with the power steering reservoir over there, at least you can see the writing on the lid, and you couldn't even see that before. Completely legible. But yeah, look, I'd give myself about a 5 out of 10 here. I've certainly achieved better, and I think I'll do better next time. But yeah, I think last step now is just let this dry off, and then I'll put the whole car back together. End of the job for that one. On to the next car.